Yo, what's up? I will start this episode slightly differently than usual. Please have a look at what we are doing today. First of all, we'll have a look at the Aviary. Then, we'll pay a visit to the green dragon right here. Next in line will be the Gravewalker, followed by a big and angry red mother dragon. And as a last foe of today, we'll fight with the brute. In the end, we'll pay a visit to the Archivist and learn a lot about exiled lands. Let's dive in. Remember the Unnamed City from the end of the last episode? Yep, we are heading straight into it, and since there is so much going on in there, it is quite likely that we are going to need to split this journey into two parts to go through all that I have seen. I have been wandering around for a while when I have decided to dive deeper into this city. I have noticed humans present in here. Shouldn't surprise me when I have got to know that these were relic hunters. It makes a lot of sense considering this is a city of fallen race that may have left tons of artifacts behind them. Okay, these, technically, robbers have been dealt with, and I have carried on exploring this fallen empire when I have officially discovered the Unnamed City on our map. Then I have moved forward and I've got to this area, where the Aviary is located. This place is a house for giant bats that we have seen at the beginning of our journey with Conan. There is quite a few of these down here, but as I didn't want to accumulate too much corruption in the beginning of our visit here, we will come back to the Aviary. Moving forward, I have found even more thieves. However, this is not a reason of me coming here. There is a wham creature down there, and I want to get to it and defeat it, as I have never before completed a run through the Unnamed City. Now, it is the time to do so. Before I took on the big one, I fought with a dragon hatchling to find out how much of a threat this could be. Naturally, if I can't take care of a little one, the big boy would pose much bigger challenge. So, as the hatchling was pretty easy to defeat, I went down the stairs towards these two. Unfortunately, I have got caught in the middle of the sandstorm, so I had to delay our battle, but then these two decided to pose for today's thumbnail. Sweet. Once the elements decided to calm down a little, I have lured a little dragon with the use of our handy bow, dealt with it, and we finally had an occasion to see how much of a fighter the big one would be. Will it breathe fire? Let's find out. This cutie is called Green Dragon, and fighting it was not as difficult as it was lengthy. I have to say that it was an interesting change of perspective, as most of the creatures we fought until now were small in size compared to this one, even Thag himself. Just a disclaimer, there was nothing special to be looted from it. And this is the area where Green Dragon resides. In case you would like to go there yourself and pay it a visit, say hello from Deynon when you get there. Now that the lesser boss has been defeated, I will move on to trying to fight with the bigger baddies in here. First one on my list was the Gravewalker that was apparently in a close vicinity to where the Green Dragon was slain. The only problem I have found while being in here is that it was quite difficult to try and figure out which one is the right one, as in the Gravewalker itself, as they all look alike. Then I have finally stumbled upon the one we were looking for. This would be one of those super long fights as per usual with whites, as they have truckloads of health, so skip. When it got knocked out, I have came closer to have a look at what sort of goodies I could count on, and I was surprised to see an item called Ghastly Axe, as I have literally never seen it before. Nothing special, but still. And this is where you can find the Gravewalker. Being done with the Undead Walker, I was on my way forward to clash with the other foes in here. However, this oddly looking construction got my attention and caused me to go and check it out, only to find more relic hunters and discover mysteriously named spawning pools. And the reason it is called the spawning pools has probably something to do with this. Yup, another dragon, this one being even bigger than the one we fought previously. This one having a name of the Red Mother. And well, it makes sense now. Spawning pools, red dragon called Mother. Yep, I guess I understand now. And let me tell you something. This creature looks very intimidating compared to any other one I have fought by far. At least we have found a real dragon that breathes fire, you know? Also, that is pretty much the reason I have always avoided the Unnamed City. The horrors that reside in here are far beyond anything you could encounter in the Tier 1 zone. If you would like to fight the Red Mother, this is where you can find her. Next one is the Brute, which literally shares a character model with the Serpent Man skeletons we have seen within the Wine Cellar dungeon. To be absolutely honest, this one was a damage sponge as well. just like the Gravewalker, but once it was defeated, it has dropped just another fragment of power, and these things will be quite useful in the near future. Also, this is where you can find this undead creature. With 3 out of 6 main bosses in this area gone, I was on my way to find the next one when I have passed through slave pits, and while we were dealing with multiple undead, I have noticed that there is an obelisk in the distance. Obelisk that I will have to visit and attune our bracelet to. There was also an amazing sight of a fallen city spanning across the horizon. We will definitely have to go down there and explore what it hides. Guess what I found once I got out of the area? Even more relic hunters. Anyways, as they didn't drop anything special, I have just dealt with them and carried on to find myself within this area right here. I know that somewhere in here there is something I would like to both see myself and show it to you guys, the Archivist. But first, let's get to the obelisk and attune our bracelet to it. This will definitely come in handy in the future if I will plan to be teleported to the corrupted city. Cool. Now we can go towards this passage where we would discover both the archives and the library of esoteric knowledge, probably the longest location name in this game. Let's dive in. I kind of don't know what I am looking at. It resembles the map room itself, but I have never used one, so anyways, what you can see is the library of esoteric artifacts, and this is where all of the accumulated fragments of power would be used. If you have one or more on you, you can swap them for a scroll that will teach you something you may or may not know just yet. Cool stuff considering we had a few of these fragments by now. Here is a quick look at what you can get from the library. I got the Fox taxidermy knowledge and a few more later down the line since I have defeated a few bosses in here. I could afford it with all the fragments of power I had on me. Next one, for example, was the King Scourge statue, which literally taught me how to craft it. And no, you can't find it here. You can find it in the artisan table. Alrighty, I will leave you with the Archivist for quite an important conversation about the exiled lands and especially about how we can get out of them.
Do not be afraid, bonded one. I am just a shadow, a whisper of what once was. Before the fall, when this kingdom raised knighted pillars of black stone to the sky, I was called the Archivist. Have you come to seek a way free of the bonding bracelet, human? There is only one chance, and a very slim one at that. You must assemble the items of power that were present at its creation. The diadem of the Giant Kings, the mask of the Witch Queen, the tears of 2 races, the star of the champion, the heart of the sands, the shining trapezohedron, and the serpent ring of Set. I fear I set you an impossible quest, human. The diadem of the Giant Kings was once worn upon the brow of the Priest King. He fell in battle with Tyros, the Deathbringer, in the battlefields of the north. More than that, I cannot say. The Priest King was the most passionate and most volatile among us. I fear his downfall will not have been a simple matter. The Witch Queen of Lemuria was our great enemy in the dying days of our race. Her people came to us as refugees, but even as they took our succor, they plotted our downfall. She was present at the creation of the bracelet, lending her power to ours. Her fate is unknown to me, but she always ruled from her city in the swamp to the east. The tears of 2 races were simple to obtain when we performed the ritual. We simply took our tears and combined them. But who is left to weep for both races? Although tales persist of Tyros the Deathbringer, he was born of both races. Our blood mingled with theirs. Perhaps his tears could be enough to fulfill the requirement. Obtaining them would be quite the feat. The star of the champion lies buried beneath the sands of the arena in the east. I remember well the day that Tyros killed the mighty dragon. He wept to defeat such a noble creature. He placed the star upon its brow. As far as I know, there it remains. The heart of the sands, or simply the Scourge Stone, was an artifact of power. The Priest King used it to create a weapon, the Sandstorm, that he swore would be our salvation. He gave it to the Warmaker to unleash upon our enemies. As far as I know, it was destroyed in the attempt. But perhaps the Warmaker has more insight. The Serpent Ring of Set. It was our most powerful artifact. It was kept in a tomb beneath this city, and then one day, a human came. He had all the words and signs of power. He passed through every ward and trap we had put in place. He took the Serpent Ring of Set, and he left. If you wonder why you wear the bracelet, wonder no more. It must have been this man who called himself Tohamon. Dedicate yourself to recovering the other artifacts. You will not recover the Serpent Ring of Set as long as you are trapped in this empire. Perhaps it will be enough. When you have the artifacts, you must place them on the receptacle north of here. Once you have filled this vessel with the artifacts of power, it will create a keystone. To remove your bracelet, all that is required is to touch it with the keystone. And then, mortal, you will be free. But freedom will mean giving up all that these lands have come to offer you. So choose wisely. How did I die? I was betrayed by your kind. In a place called the Circle of Swords. I went in good faith to meet the Witch Queen. She had promised peace. I was cut down. My bones were left to rot in the wind. And yet, my spirit has always belonged to the Archives, human. And so, I am here. And here, I shall remain. Have you come to seek a way free of the bonding bracelet, human? There is only one chance, and a very slim one.
With all this being said, I want to thank you for your time. Like or dislike accordingly, leave a comment down below, and subscribe so I could see you in the next one. Deynon, out.